Hello and welcome to Wasted Plotential, where we discuss the wasted potential of our favourite plotlines. Mortal Kombat Onslaught is currently having its first crossover with the main MK continuity via its first Chronicle story, Rough Journey. This story sees Kuai Liang Scorpion from M1K arriving on Liu Kang's behalf to retrieve Jinsei water to purify his own reality's dying Jinsei. One would assume that the point of having Kuai Liang Scorpion travel to a more classic MK universe would be to highlight the contrast with Liu Kang's new era by having him interact with himself as Sub-Zero, Hanzo as Scorpion, Bi-Han as Noob Saibot, Smoke as a cyborg, and maybe someone with a different status like Liu Kang or Raiden. But the story sadly misses several of these opportunities. First, he arrives at the SF base and has a fight with the distrustful Jax and Sonya, but he helps against the invading Black Dragon and they make up. Next, he goes with Jax to meet Raiden at the Temple of the Elements, which is under siege by the Cyberlin Kuei. They defeat Smoke and a confused Cyrax before Scorpion winds up alone in the Netherrealm. He encounters Noob Saibot, who is not happy to see his brother in Shiraidu colours. He also encounters Quan Chi, who acknowledges the difference in Kuai Liang, but Kuai Liang doesn't even recognise him. Raiden then escorts him to the Bone Temple, where Hanzo is randomly on Shinnok's side, and then they beat Shinnok himself. Kuai Liang gets the water and goes home. Bizarre continuity issues aside, since I'll address those when I cover Onslaught and M1K on a line through time, this story was okay, but missed several opportunities to really shine a light on how alien this more classic MK timeline would be for someone as totally surrounded by altered people as this new Scorpion is. So here's how I would have changed it to better capitalise on the conflict between old and new. I would have Kuai Liang be as uneasy around Jax and Sonya as they are around him. After all, the only versions of them he's shared a scene with are evil MK3 Jax and evil Kano Sonya. This Sonya even shares her colours and wears tech over her eye as if they were intentionally trying to make the two look similar. He thinks they're bad guys and so beats them down. Then Eren arrives and goes to kill them while they're down. Kuai Liang opposes this dishonourable act, defeating Eren and making up with the SF. Next, he goes to the Temple of the Elements, but instead of Cyrax being the one he recognises and who recognises him, I'd have it be Smoke. Not just because Kuai Liang and Smoke have always been close, but because having M1K Kuai Liang specifically witness his adopted brother transformed into a soulless machine holds way more dramatic potential than a guy who was mentioned by Kuai Liang once and never actually appears in the game. Kuai Liang makes Jax promise to restore Smoke, a nod to MK Gold. I would also include an encounter with Frost, maybe replacing the Cyrax fight. Presumably she's not here because Cyberfrost isn't in the game yet, similar to other times the story skips obvious fights for that reason, but considering this Frost was banished for opposing Kuai Liang helping Scorpion, her reaction to a Kuai Liang who is Scorpion is a must-have. The encounter with Bi-Han is perfectly fine as is. I'd maybe have Hanzo or Sub-Zero accompany Scorpion here to provide commentary on the differences, but it's not a huge deal. Kuai Liang would also have his scar here and recognise Bi-Han thanks to the scar throbbing when Noob appears because of its origin. There is another change I'd probably make, but I'll discuss that later. Quan Chi's scene is the same except that Scorpion recognises him, and Quan Chi comments on savouring the chance to have two of his enemies in one as his slave. I'd have Hanzo be wandering the Netherrealm as an opponent to Shinnok's forces, striking at them and raiding their bases to keep them weak as atonement for his assistance in furthering of Shinnok's goals. He meets Scorpion and the two work together. This allows Hanzo to comment on the surreality of Kuai Liang taking his place, and give Kuai Liang a taste of the man his new apprentice could one day become, both the villain he may end up as, and the noble hero he can become through either proper teaching or penance. And I'd close this story with Noob stealing Shinnok's amulet after the Elder God goes down, allowing Kuai Liang's final opponent to be his brother. Bi-Han is defeated, and Kuai Liang is left to contemplate that bringing his own Bi-Han back from the dark path may be a lost cause. Hanzo comments that if he's still Sub-Zero and not a Wraith, there may still be hope. And if nothing else, Kuai Liang's own counterpart maintains the honour of the Sub-Zero mantle in this timeline. Scorpion then returns home with much to contemplate about his own future, which could at least set up a few intros in the next main game. And that's the end of Kuai Liang Scorpion's presence in the Onslaught timeline. As well as utilising such golden opportunities, it also fixes all the continuity issues this story has with both involved timelines. But again, that's for another video. But I think this plot would actually make more sense with Raiden being sent, being Liu Kang's champion and all, and it could even tie into ideas introduced in Raiden's ending. But we always have to give Scorpion the focus first, even though he hasn't mattered to the story substantially since the end of MK4. If you liked this video, why not subscribe and support me on Patreon like these fine people here? If not, then make sure to share it with your enemies so they can suffer along with you. Today's recommended video... Oh shit, I didn't even pick one. I guess it's nothing, because I've run out of videos to shill on MK. Recommend some more, please.